This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining the City of Kingston Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission at our monthly meeting. Today is September 3rd, 2020. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the Planning Director and Organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin our meeting, we'd like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help navigate this system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Commission members and city staff will control their own mute button. Good practice would be to mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a commissioner or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. The chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners and transcript recording. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city's website at a later date. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we requested all comments to be received by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, September 1st, 2020. Communications that were received were not associated with any item on the agenda and are being addressed by staff level to be brought to the HLPC Commission as an agenda item at a future date. All meeting materials, applications, supporting documentation, written comments may be found on the city website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov. And on the home page, scroll down to the bottom under meetings where you see Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission listed. Click the link for the agenda and you will find universal hyperlinks for all information. If at any time you have an audio issue, send a text message to the following number, 845-443-0416. I'll repeat that number again, but beware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to eject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into an attorney-client conference if necessary. The Commission wishes to thank you for your continued patience during this unusual and difficult time. On their behalf, we wish you and your family good health, and I now turn the floor over to Chairman Mark Grunblatt to call the meeting officially to order. Mark?
I'm Mark Grunblatt. I chair Historic Landmark Preservation Commission. I'm going to ask each commission member to unmute and identify themselves in turn. I'll start with Andrea Putes.
Andrea Putes. I am the registered architect on the board.
Robert Tonner.
Robert Tonner, Commissioner.
Hayes Clement.
Hayes Clement, Commissioner, present.
And Kevin McAvoy.
Commissioner, present.
Thank you all. Has all the commissioners had a chance to review the minutes from our August meeting? Are there any amendments from any commissioner for the minutes? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'm Hayes Clement. I so move.
I seek a second.
Robert Tonner, second.
Andrea, you're going to have to unmute if you're going to. All right. I will call the roll on the motion. Hayes.
Aye.
You're going to have to unmute.
I am unmuted. Aye.
Thank you, Hayes. I've moved on to Robert next. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. Andrea?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Also vote in the affirmative. Thank you. Okay. Next item on our agenda. Let me call that up. All right. Thank you. .311 Wall Street, public hearing. Sue, do we have folks appearing for the public hearing on this matter?
Yes, Victoria Polidoro is here, representing the applicant.
Okay, then I would ask Victoria to go first and fill us in on what the applicant would like us to know.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Victoria Polidoro from Rodenhausen Shaw Polidoro. Also here is Corbin Plays. He's a project manager for William Gottlieb Properties. We made a presentation at the last meeting, but we're here to replace the temporary fence at the rear of 311 Wall Street with a permanent black aluminum fence. The fence would be 4 feet along the frontage of Crown Street and 6 feet along the southern boundary. The project also involves repairs to the sidewalk to replace it with bluestone and brick. We believe the project meets all the standards for the Landmark Commission. It's not changing the exterior, and the materials are compatible with the historic nature of the area.
For commissioners, do we have any questions for
Mark?
either? Yes?
Mark, this is Sue. Because this is a public hearing, you should ask if there's anyone from the general public that wishes to speak on the application.
All right, thank you for that reminder. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on the matter of 311 Wall Street? Hearing none, I will repeat my question to you, Victoria.
Mark, I
Yeah,
have one more matter. I believe, Robert, you are recusing. You did last month, I believe, on this application. I need you to unmute.
to unmute, thank you.
Yes, I did recuse. However, I can and will be objective about anything that comes before me on this board. So I'd like a little guidance here.
Sure. What is the nature, has there been any change in the nature of your concern between August and now?
Not really. I mean, you know, but I see what the project is. So, you know, the project makes sense to me, and you know, I don't see any reason why I can't be objective about it. I mean, I saying,
As I recall from last month, it was a question of a pending lawsuit, and it's not directly related to this. Am I correct?
not directly related to this. There is a lawsuit, and there's Cuba is being sued. So
The Kingston Uptown Business Association.
I'm on the board of Cuba, so I'm happy to recuse or vote, either one.
I would tell you that I don't believe it's necessary. I believe you did it last month out of an abundance of caution. And if you are comfortable going forward, I would be happy to include you in the discussion and in the decision-making process here. If you're comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it as chair.
Okay, and I'm comfortable with it.
Thank you kindly for clarifying that, Robert.
Sure.
So Victoria, my question is the design. Is it inspired by anything presently in the district, or what led to that, the design decision here?
So because the applicant understood the need to put up a new fence, this is the same fence that was previously proposed by the Kingston Food Exchange and was approved by the planning board, we understood. So because that project was well received, we wanted to continue, you know, using a material that we thought that the city had approved of.
Okay, Sue, I saw your hand up. You had a question?
Just two more quick notes. Andrea Putz has recused herself because of her affiliation with Scott Dutton. She is an employee of Scott Dutton Architecture. She discussed that with Dan Gartenstein this afternoon. And Gary Bellows is caller number 1. He could not figure out how to unmute himself, so I just did. He would like to speak on the for the public hearing.
Ms.
That's
Cahill,
important.
can I have clarification? What does Scott Dutton have to do with this application?
Scott Dutton is an architect that does a lot of work for ARC Mid-Hudson.
Oh, I see. Okay, so ARC is objecting.
Employee of his.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for unmuting, and we're still in public hearing. So if you would state your name for the record and let us know what you'd like us to consider.
Okay, my name is Gary Bellows. And first of all, I'd like to thank your committee members for donating their time for the betterment of the city of Kingston. I am a former supervisor for 22 years of the town of Hurley and currently serve as a business and real estate officer for the ARC Mid-Hudson. The ARC Mid-Hudson employs over 1,400 staff members who live and work in the city and surrounding areas and supports 1,700 people with disabilities in this community. So why I'm here tonight, why I'm asking to speak tonight is first, I think you should know a little backstory of our issue with Mr. Bender. Mr. Bender and his team of lawyers have met with me 5 times trying to buy our building, which is located at 319-321 Wall Street with lowball offers. Our building sits in between the 2 properties that he owns. On the 3rd visit with Mr. Bender, he stated to me, what if I blocked off the parking lot? And my response would be it would cause a hardship for the individuals with developmental disabilities. And he said, oh, I'm only kidding. And after the 5th meeting, when his offer was rejected, again, he locked the fence that went across the back of Crown Street, denying access to our main entrance for day-hab services for people with disabilities. The ARC Mid-Hudson has been loading and unloading individuals at that location for over 10 years. It's a safe area for individuals to load and unload from their transportation and to go to program in our building. The lock fence will force us to load and unload individuals on a busy Wall Street, which compromises their safety and ability to attend program. In my opinion, this is a tactic to put pressure on the ARC of Mid-Hudson to accept his low offer to buy our building. So let me cut to the chase. It is also my belief that Mr. Bender is in violation of the current New York State Fire Code in Ulster County. I believe that New York State Fire Code requires 2 ways of egress and ingress to the nearest thoroughfare from a commercial building in New York State. I suspect when the city of Kingston issued the CMO for us to operate our day-hab programs, they saw that we could exit the building safely to Wall Street and to Crown Street, which are both the nearest thoroughfares. And this was the case for over 10 years until Mr. Bender could not buy our building and locked up the fence that goes across Crown Street. So to comply with New York State and to help people with disabilities go to their program in a safe manner, we asked Mr. Bender to be a positive, productive member of the Uptown Kingston and to take down or unlock his fence. And in conclusion, I just want to say that we believe that for 10 years, and we have not owned the building for 10 years, that we have been able to cooperate with other business owners who owned the buildings on either side of us. And we all worked as a community to help people with disabilities. And I was hoping that Mr. Bender would act in the same manner. I want to thank you all for your time and consideration in this manner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mark? Mark, this is Sue. Because this issue had been raised to staff in the past, we have consulted with Corporation Counsel. I did receive an email from Kevin Bryant today. We sent him a copy of the application because Dan was not available for this evening's meeting. Essentially, I'll read one paragraph of his email. His first paragraph essentially reviews what the project is, discussing the fencing and the sidewalk. In the second paragraph, it reads as follows. In response to the application, the adjoining property owner is objecting, alleging granting the application will create an obstruction with regard to a previously enjoyed access to their property. You have reviewed all records and files and found no easements or license for access to the adjoining owner. I agree this matter is beyond the authority of the commission as the issue involves a private property dispute and absent any agreement, judicial intervention will be required. Kevin. Mark, we can't hear you.
Lean in. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do any commission members have any questions about Mr. Bryant's email to Sue? Do you understand the issue that's being discussed?
I'd also like to address the comments after the commissioners speak.
That's fine. I think we need to go first on this, Ms. Polidoro. All right. If anyone has a question, that would be Hayes, Robert, or Kevin on this application. Now's the best time.
So Kevin's opinion is essentially counseling us that we're only to be considering the aesthetics, historical context, and the other things normally under our purview when we review this application for the fence, not the dispute between the two parties as to access to buildings.
Correct.
Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
I think that's a rational summary, Hayes. Ms. Polidoro, you wanted to address this point?
Well, I mean, Mr. Hayes basically just said it. I just wanted to remind you that, this board's jurisdiction is limited to whether the project complies with the city's landmark district regulations, and that the issues that Mr. Bellows has raised, whether or not they're true, are irrelevant to the issue before your board. And, we're unaware of any property rights that are being violated, and it's a private matter between, neighbors.
All right. Any other questions either from the board for either Mr. Bellows or Ms. Polidoro or Mr. Clays? All right, then I'm going to ask for a vote to close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion. I'm moving to close the public hearing. I need a second.
Second.
Thank you, Hayes. All right. On closing the public hearing, I'm going to call the roll. Kevin?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Hayes?
Aye.
Mark,
Can't
I
hear
can't hear.
Mark.
Mark, you have to lean in.
Let me see if I can pump up the mic a little. Nope, apparently not. All right, I'll lean in. So then the public hearing is closed. Do we have any questions among ourselves? anything any of the commissioners would like to discuss or clarify? You need to unmute.
Yeah, hi. Robert Tonner speaking. Listen, I have a question about the sidewalk. I don't know what's there right now. Is it just cement or is it?
No, it's a brick and bluestone. It's relatively recent. It's not original Uptown, but it's the brick lining closest to the street. Bluestone is both the curb material and the sidewalk material. It's been overrun with some heavy trucks, obviously went over that, the sidewalk. So
Oops, Mark, I lost you.
the bluestone is not in great shape. It appears to have been, driven over by heavy trucks. It's shattered in several spots, but it's the newer design with brick. We have bluestone as the curb material, brick closest to the street, then a strip of bluestone, which honestly is in poor repair.
So they're just going to replace that, is that right? Just replace what was there?
Let's ask that question.
Corbin, can you speak to this?
Mr. Plays?
We can't
I'm sorry,
hear
we
you.
can't hear you.
Nope.
Sorry,
Okay.
not yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Our intention is to replace the sidewalk in kind, meaning we would, most likely take some of the bricks out, see which bricks are still viable, and then weave those in so we kind of keep replace the sidewalk, the different components, and rework it, but using some of the old materials and some of the new materials where possible.
But the design would remain as it is today.
If you went there and looked at it now, it would just be like a cleaner, newer version of what's already there.
Got it. Thank you.
Do you know the thickness of the bluestone there and what you're planning to replace it with?
We haven't probed it, but most likely about 2 inches. That's a standard. And we would, again, do this for uniformity purposes, we would do the same thickness so that it all matched.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the commission? All right. Okay, then. I'm going to move that the commissioners present find as fact that the proposed permanent black aluminum fence and replacement of local bluestone and red bricks. Yes.
Speaker.
All right. First, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? All right. State Environmental Quality Review Act is the, I'm going to entertain a motion that we declare this a type 2 action under seeker. Do I have someone who will make that motion?
I make that motion.
You, Hayes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kevin. All those, I'll call the roll on the question of the seeker declaration. Hayes?
We're declaring a type 2 action.
Correct. Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Mark, you have to lean in. We can't hear you.
Also, oh my gosh, this is a surprise to me. It usually isn't such a problem. All right, well, so you're going to see a lot of my nose tonight. I vote in the affirmative. I note Andrea's recusal. And
Okay.
all right, and I now move that we find that the proposed permanent black aluminum fence and replacement of local bluestone and red brick sidewalk at 311 Wall Street in the Stockade Historic District by the applicant and owner, 311 Wall Street LLC, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the building in the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place in the rear parking lot of the two-story commercial brick building that initially housed F.W. Woolworth Department Store, appearing on the 1940 Kingston Nyrenstein map, having been built somewhere between 1940 and 1926, when the property was purchased from the St. John's Church, which had been sited there but was relocated in that year to Albany Avenue. The parking lot extending to the west and north of the rear of that building and encompassing the property beyond it to the north that houses 317, 321, and to a lesser degree, 323 Wall Street, and includes the site of the old Crown Street bus terminal, with its westernmost border being Crown Street and its southern border running roughly parallel to the building itself. That the proposed work will involve the removal of the existing chain link fence surrounding the entirety of the parking lot and its replacement with a permanent black aluminum fence 4 feet high along Crown Street and 6 feet high along the southern border of the property, with 2 rolling gates atop a 10-inch curb and the in-kind repair and replacement of the existing bluestone and red brick sidewalk along Crown Street. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the new fence and sidewalk repair and replacement will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, that any changes or additions to these plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out, that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, it is proposed that on the 3rd day of September 2020, this commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for the work as described therein, and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Robert, for the second. I'll call the roll on the motion. Hayes?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative and note Andrea's recusal.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for coming back this month, and good luck with all.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, on to next item on the agenda, I believe is 73B Broadway. Is there anyone here to address that application?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Jen Bikert, representing Timely Signs, representing the client that is moving into that.
All right, let us know what you plan to do with this sign.
All right, so this is going to be a double-sided hanging sign. The size is going to be 33 inches, basically round, 3/4 of an inch thick. The material will be PVC with digitally printed graphics. on both sides. It will be mounted to the building using a 40-inch long, 2-inch by 2-inch square aluminum pole. It will have a guide wire for support with wind and such.
And in what manner is it attached to the building?
The bracket has a square base plate, and it will be mounted to the building with bolts, with through bolts.
Order is to declare this a type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Do I have a motion for such a finding?
Second.
So
All right, so we've got a motion from Hayes in the second. Way to hop in there. Call the roll on the State Environmental Quality Review Act motion. I'll start with you, Hayes.
aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. On the question of the sign itself, do we have any further questions for the applicant? All right. Seeing none, I would move that we find as fact that the proposed signage at 73 Broadway in the Rondout Historic District by the applicant, Timely Signs, and owner Dorothy Pearson, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to Section 405-64 of the City of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible. That the proposed signage will involve one double-sided 33 by 33 by 3/4 inch PVC sign with applied digitally printed HP matte graphic mounted to a 40-inch by 2-inch by 2-inch square aluminum pole. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance, which will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building. That any changes or additions to the plans or signage specifically described and outlined in this will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out. That this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from the relevant coordinating agencies. Specifically that the applicant must obtain insurance naming the city as an additional insured in respect to the overhang as required by Section 538-9 of the city's administrative code. Based on the preceding findings of fact, it is proposed that on the third day of September 2020, this commission grant a preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant for signage as described herein and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Thank you, Hayes, for the second. I'll call the roll on the motion. Hayes?
aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
All right, last item on the agenda is 102 Wirtz Street. I see Tanya is here.
Hi.
Hi there. I'd like you to let us know what you need us to know here.
I got the siding off and I gave it some more thought regarding the colors. And in terms of what the colors that I chose last time were, they wouldn't go very well with the two houses on either side. The house next door that has white siding with a green trim, I think that would be weird with the opposites. And I really thought more about the old historic pictures. They were black and white, but it really had the look that maybe it was sort of mushroom colors, more along those lines of an earthy sort of light color. The paint's not gonna come off enough to make it like a stained wood, and that might not be quite appropriate anyway, because I would like it to look more of a city house than the wood, even if that would agree with it. And so these colors that I picked are really inspired by the old pictures, but also the Lutheran church's stonework. So I think it will, there's enough of a contrast with my house and those buildings that this similar color will help it jive. Did you get the list of the colors?
Yes, we did, and I could see them on the computer. Did you have? All right, give it a shot.
I don't know how much you're going to be able to see. So these are the two main colors. This is, let's see if I can, maybe I should shine this flashlight on it. Of course, it's hard to tell with your different screens.
Tanya,
Yeah.
it's Julie. Hi, it's Julie Edelson Stafford. I shared all the colors, the actual visuals of them.
Oh, good.
You guys all have,
So
they're in the application.
Yes.
Yes.
So
It's
the darker is the base and the lighter is the trim. I'm trying. Okay.
Yeah. And
But
then
and the boards and battens will be primarily the darker color. It's not that one is being highlighted.
right, all the board and batten section will be the darker but very close color, and the trim will be the lighter color. So the trim around the windows, the frame of the door, the soffit and fascia will be this lighter ammonite. And then the purebeck stone will be all the boards and the battens. And then the door will be a darker color. They call it, it's denim, after it's because it's kind of like denim for absolutes. And then borrowed light is just one of those classic, very light blue, almost white colors for the ceiling of the porches. So some blues, but very mild blues.
All right. Do commissioners have any questions for Ms. Garman? Yes, Hayes.
So Tanya, I'm confused. So the application references the Benjamin Moore color. So that's the old scheme.
Yeah. And I wanted to go with Faro and Ball because I don't want vinyl paint.
Okay, so the Faro and Ball, I mean, is there an updated application that just listed, or do you have it in the findings of fact, Mark? Do you have it in
the latter? Yes.
Okay, great. I think they're nice. Maybe the main and the trim are pretty close, Tanya. Do you think there's going to be much distinction there?
There's not going to be much distinction, but there'll be some. It's such a flat, the windows are all just like the historic picture, where they're very flat. They're not very different than the in their depth. It's a very flat, very subtle sort of trim, and the fascia actually goes across the corner of the windows because they're not a feature.
Yeah.
I like that but I like it's light enough though that I have these stupid white vinyl windows. But it's a light enough color that it'll make them not so glaring as a contrast. It's light enough to make it the white vinyl windows not be a feature.
So the mullions and the windows will still be white. Then you'll go to this ammonite, and then the field will be Purbeck stone. Okay.
Right.
You know you can get Benjamin Moore at Herzog's to match the Farrowwood ball colors, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to paint my house in vinyl. I want to do it all natural. I'd like it to breathe. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's beautiful.
yeah,
Just
pretty
trying
nice,
to save you some money.
things. Yeah, a lot of money.
Farrowwood
Yeah.
ball exterior paint is pretty expensive.
What? I
Farrowwood
can feel
ball
the
exterior paint is pretty outrageously expensive.
I know. I was at a certain point today, I was thinking about this a lot and looking at the costs of everything, and I had to spend some time on the couch just letting the stress dissipate. But I made the decision, and I think it's a good one.
They look nice.
So, yeah. Thanks.
Any other questions from the commission for Ms. Garman? All right. Then I move that the commissioners find as fact that the proposed facade restoration at 102 Ward Street in the Rondout Historic District. Seeker. You're absolutely right. What can I say? You're right. You're right. All right. I will entertain a motion to declare this a type 2 action under secret.
So moved.
Thank you, Hayes. Do I have a second? Ooh, I think Robert beat you, Andrew.
I can't win.
Oh, you got one. You got one. All right. I'll call the roll on the declaration under State Environmental Quality Review Act. Hayes?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Evan?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
And I also will vote in the affirmative.
Okay, thank you.
All right, step one. Now for step two. I move that the commissioners find as fact that the proposed facade restoration at 102 Worth Street in the Rondout Historic District by applicant and owner Tanya Garman, if done according to the plans reviewed at this meeting and according to the procedures stipulated in section 405-64 of Kingston's Administrative Code, is compatible with the historic character of the building and the district for the following reasons. That the proposed work is to take place at the 1.5-story 3-bay house situated on the eastern side of Works Street, roughly centered between Rogers and West Pierpont Streets, but closer to Rogers, with its gable facing west, appearing on the 1870 Beers map of Rondout, Kingston, and Wilbur, having been built sometime before 1870 and after 1858, since it does not appear on the map of Ulster County of 1858 by J.H. French. That the proposed work will involve the removal of vinyl siding and restoration and repair of the original board and batten siding beneath, with the siding to be painted in Farrow and ball colors Purbeck stone, the trim in ammonite, the door in denim, and the ceiling porch in borrowed light. That this work will cause a material change to the external appearance of the property, that the restoration and painting work will not detract from the character of the historic district or the building, that any changes or additions to the plans or work specifically described and outlined in the submitted application will be subject to further review by our commission prior to the work being carried out, that that this commission's approval does not obviate the need for a building permit from the City of Kingston's Building Safety Division or any other required approvals from relevant coordinating agencies. Based on the preceding findings of fact, I resolve that on the 3rd day of September 2020, this commission amend the previously granted preservation notice of action to the above referenced applicant to reflect the new colors as described herein, and in its application to the commission, such notice to be subject to the conditions contained in the foregoing motion. Do I have a second? Andrea. Andrea wins. Nice try, Kevin. Next month. All right, I will call the roll on the motion. Hayes?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
And I also vote in the affirmative. Thank you, Tanya, for bringing this back, and good luck with the selected paints. I'm glad to see you eschewing vinyl and going to an older style of paint. I think the weather well. Thanks again. All right. Are there any other items of business to be brought?
Yes, Mark, I want to ask the commission what their opinion is to have a single meeting, combined heritage and landmarks for the month of October, September.
Has everyone responded to email on this? No. All right. So let's talk it out. It would be either the 30th of September or the 1st of October. That Wednesday and Thursday, as it turns out, would be back-to-back meetings for Wednesday on the 1 and Thursday on landmarks. Hayes, you would be back-to-back on both. I guess, Kevin, you're on as well.
Yes, as we had discussed this at Heritage already.
And from my point of view, either day can be made to work as long as you're messing up anything with the Kingston Code by saying we're having an October meeting in September or vice versa. Either day will work for me. Do any other commissioners have limitations on those days? Andrea is indicating no. Robert? You're going to need to unmute, Robert.
I just have a question. So this is just for convenience, right? There's no special.
No, this is a unique, I mean, Heritage will meet on the 30th of September and October 1st is HLPC's meeting date, because there's a lot of overlap that we see on a month-to-month basis of several applicants, and there's overlap in commission members. We just felt that it would be more efficient to have both commissions meet at the same time. You'll still function independently. The chairman of, well, Hayes is chairman of Heritage, will maintain the Heritage Commission and do their votes separately and distinctly, as Mark will do for the HLPC. So it's really just a matter of efficiency on our part.
And in that regard, will we be hearing those related applications essentially back to back, or are we going to make everyone sit through?
No, I think the best way to do it would be to present, I mean, the applications are essentially the same in front of both commissions. So the applicant would make their presentation to both commissions. Any commissioner that is present can ask questions. And then Hayes, you might go first and say, okay, you'll do the Heritage Commission, you'll do the vote and the roll call for them. And Mark, you'll follow suit likewise with landmarks. You'll each have to vote independently of each other.
A little complicated, but it sounds doable. Kevin?
Yeah, one question on this. Who makes the secret motion?
I
You-
expect
Which
we both
board?
do since it's
Still
two.
acting independently, you
Both?
both have to do it. You would be doing exactly
Okay.
the same thing.
Okay.
Heritage will have to do it for their decision. We have to do it for our decision. I don't think we get to overlap on that. Is there a question of form? I know that's been tricky for Heritage in the past. Is it important for them to do Wednesday to make sure everyone can make it?
They said it did not, the Heritage Commission said either date would work for them. So I'm going to put out that we do it on October 1st, Thursday.
Okay, that would be good for me.
It will be the same time, 6:30.
All right, are there any other items to be brought before the commission? If not, I have one question for you, Sue. Do we have any applications pending for our open seat?
You cut out, Mark.
Do we have anyone applying for the open spot on historic landmarks?
I have not seen any applicants, no.
All right, I would urge commission members, if you know someone who's interested, to, I think the process is for them to get their name to you, Sue, or does it need to go to?
You know, if an individual wishes to contact us, we can certainly talk to them first about, you know, what the obligations would be, you know, what type of review process that would be going through, but they would have to do a formal application to the mayor. We could provide them with that as well.
Okay. Anything else from anyone else? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion?
I'm going to give this one to Kevin. Kevin has moved.
Second.
Do I have a second? Hayes has the second. All those in favor,
Okay.
I will call the roll. Hayes?
Aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Andrea?
Aye.
I also vote in the affirmative. We stand adjourned. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, October 1st.
Good night,
Yes.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
See you then. Bye now.
Julie, you're hanging out for a minute. Julie, you still there? Julie? Julie, are you there?